am this person or that person.
Or I know who I am, or I know how things should be. So that's our primary religion. It's not even Christianity or Buddhism or Hinduism. The primary religion of every person has a primary religion.
And that's their identification.
Yeah, just to know how things are. Everyone knows how things are, how the world is.
How the world is.
How the world is in his or her way, right? So everyone has his or her way of knowing.
Well, everyone is a know-it-all.
So it's like, so we are true believers. Before we believe in God, we believe that we know how things are.
Or we possess the truth.
Yes, that we possess the truth of how things should be and shouldn't be, and you know what I'm saying. So that religion of false identity and false self-knowledge, it clashes with the real world, because the real world is truly unknowable. You know what I'm saying? Even scientifically, it's true. Science doesn't increase our knowledge about what is. It increases our way of handling life in a more productive way. So all the scientific knowledge is again conceptual. It's not what is. So it's very easy to mistake science for knowledge, right? Science,
that's very
scientific knowledge. So the knowledge, scientific knowledge, is the constant approximation, constant
trial and error,
constant movement towards understanding of what is.
And that keeps
it's
changing throughout
movement
science,
towards, but it never reaches that. Right? It's just like it's expand into unknown, but unknown never becomes known, not to the slightest degree. Do you see what I'm saying?
That's
unknown cannot be known.
Is that why Einstein said imagination is what counts, not knowledge?
Exactly, exactly. See, imagination. So imagination is the child's approach towards life. When child doesn't have yet faculties of logic and reason, imagination is the child's way of
life,
of perceiving the world, and that way of perceiving the world is because it's innocent, right? It doesn't clash with what is. It doesn't pretend. It doesn't build ego. It doesn't pretend that, well, I know something now, right? So now I'm more somebody than I was yesterday. Now I'm full of that knowledge. So our pursuit of knowledge is a lot of times at the expense of our modesty and humility. And the words of Socrates comes to mind now. I know that I don't know. So.
And also Rumi said the same thing.
Yes, yes.
The poet.
So the attitude towards the world, is what's responsible for us feeling that lightness of being alive. Right? So if our attitude is that we know, or the same way we believe, you know, which is just another way. So there's a science and religion. So there's two different ways of being engaged with reality, with the real world. Two different ways. And both ways create a certain workability in life. Right? Scientists, when they are really rational and reasonable to the core, they get so stuck in their mind that they would reject religion. reject that way of knowing completely. And religion in its dogma, you know, when it gets dogmatic to the core, it rejects science and scientific exploration. When in reality, science has nothing to do, doesn't have anything to do with religion. And religion has absolutely nothing to do with science, because they are just two different ways of engagement with reality.
And they cannot mix.
It's just two different ways. Yeah, absolutely cannot mix.
Why not?
Because this is like water and oil.
No, because
it's just two different.
For me, it always felt like.
It's just two different. They're complementary.
Yeah, but
they're complementary.
There's no dichotomy for me, and I'm sure probably a lot of people are thinking that if you believe in the universal wisdom of, you know, call it God, call it the Almighty, call it the omnipotence, call it Brahman, call it Buddha, call it Jesus. I mean, for me, it's very, very not only plausible, but it's almost very strange if you're a great scientist that you don't see that this creation of the universe was somehow done by, not by one God, in the clouds, but there's something we don't understand. There's something that we don't get, that we don't, there's something that we need to be awed by. There's just something to it. There's just some unbelievable something going on behind the curtain that is just simply inexplicable, and perhaps in this life, in this limited cognizance of ours, we'll never quite get what it is, who the creator is, what it's all about, and we can't claim, that yes, it's our God, that's the God, that's the correct God, that's gonna send us in heaven. But like, I've never had any doubt in my heart about the creator, the architect, the grand architect of the universe. And for me, that's completely intertwined with the greatness of science, and the greatest of all scientists, writers, poets, artists, and philosophers, and literally minds, and including greatest scientists of this century, such as Einstein. They were all extremely in that camp, and believers in God, and in certainly the Almighty. Yeah. So why do you say they don't mix?
Atheists, for example, they don't deal really with religion. They don't engage with religion. They are engaged with their own caricaturized version of religion. You see what I'm saying? Religion is something it's the same as the world of a child. You know? It's the same nature as a mystery and fairy tale and awe and wonder and infinity. You see what I'm saying? And eternity, we use these words, you know. Religion is the way to be open to experience of being alive without thinking, without conceptualizing. It's just